We're here with Luke Burgess, Business Development Manager at Lone Studio Property Partners. How are you, Luke?
Very well, thanks, Hayley. How are you?
Good, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit of history about your career to date?
Yeah, certainly. I've been involved in property and finance for about 16 years now, holding various roles. So, broker, an agent, sales manager, business development manager, I've finally arrived at the Lone Studio, which is fantastic.
Excellent. What is your role at Lone Studio Property Partners?
So I'm a business development manager, and that's doing a little bit of everything, but simply put, my role is to connect people with property. So helping our clients and our business partners' clients finding the right property that suits what they're after, their strategy.
Great. Why should property be part of any investment strategy or portfolio?
The simplest answer is diversification. So it's a key plank of any investment strategy. Most people invest in shares, perhaps some gold, some cash. Property is just another asset class that over time performs generally well, and people look to invest in. They're certainly comfortable with it as an investment class.
Great. What type of property should people look to buy? Can you talk about the different residential options available?
Sure. Residential options, look, there's plenty out there. You've got apartments, you've got townhouses, you've got house and land, commercial property, established property. So there's all sorts of vehicles that people can invest in throughout the marketplace.
Great. Where should people look to buy, and what are some of the factors to consider when picking the right area?
Yeah, lots of factors to consider. It's a bit of a maze out there looking for the right area, and I guess people need to do a lot of research. But some of the factors you consider is you want to find an area that you're comfortable with. You want to do your research and your due diligence, or at least get someone to help you with that. The other thing that you want to consider is, what does the area offer? So does it have education, or are there lots of schools in the area? Is there good transport? Are there shops? And what's coming up in the area? Are there any government projects that are coming up that are going to really liven the area up? So they're all the sorts of things you need to consider that's going on in the background when you're looking at any particular area or location to invest in.
Sure. What are some of the pitfalls and the risks when investing?
Look, I think the biggest risk is not knowing what you're doing. So, again, going back to doing your research or getting someone to help you to do that is a key thing to make sure you're across. The other thing is a lot of people are emotional when it comes to buying property. Property as a whole, Australians love property. It's a great asset class. We all love it. But the thing you've got to be mindful of is, I guess, when you're purchasing the house you're going to live in, you've really got that emotional bond, and you can see your family there or your friends and what have you. When you're looking at an investment property, you really just want the numbers to work. So you want to make sure you're buying in the right area, and it's going to have the right growth, and you're not going to have any issues with resale value later on. And all that just comes down to the numbers, not what the colour of the carpet is or anything like that. So being emotional can definitely lead you down the wrong path. That's probably one of the biggest pitfalls. The other is not knowing your numbers or not knowing what you can afford. Another key issue. And the other thing too is to be a bit conservative. So whilst you're on the path of, yes, I'm going to invest in property, I'm really excited about it, in your planning you want to be a little bit conservative so that if it doesn't quite perform at the level you expect, that there's no real issue for you, and you can just keep holding the asset long term, because investing in property is a long-term proposition.
Great. What are some of the ways people can mitigate the risk?
It goes back to diversification that I spoke about before. So in your investment strategy, you've got asset diversification, but then once you drill down into property, you want to spread your risk in there as well. So you want to diversify the types of properties you're buying. So it may be that you look in different locations, just in case one area is underperforming, but you've spread your risk and bought in another area that may be going quite well. Just evens out your growth figures. Another thing to do would be to buy different types of property. So not always buying apartments in the CBD, for example, or not always house and land in some of the outer suburbs. Having a bit of a blend through your property portfolio is really important.
Great. What is Property Partners' point of difference?
I think our biggest point of difference is the fact that we bring all our services under one roof. And again, as I said at the start, my role within the company is just to put people in touch with the right property that suits their strategy, their investment strategy. We work with their financial planners, accountants, their brokers, and we work with the clients to make sure that they get the best outcome.
Great. What are 3 main tips when looking to invest in property?
I think the 3 main tips for me, I think I mentioned a bit before. The first one is don't be emotional. take the emotion out of the transaction, treat it as just that, a transaction. Look at the numbers, make sure they stack up, and make sure that you've done your research. If you haven't done your research, my second point is to get with people or look to use people that know what they're talking about and know where to look and what to look for. You can't do enough in this space because it's a big investment. You want to make sure you're making the right decision.
Absolutely.
And the third thing I would say would be to know your numbers. So know what you can borrow, that's a key part, but also know what you personally can afford. And do it over a few different scenarios, your best, your middling, and also your worst case. That way, if things do go a little bit sideways, which does happen from time to time, you're best placed to hold on to that asset and move forward.
That's some great advice, Luke. Thank you very much for being here.
My pleasure.
Luke Burgess, Business Development Manager at Lone Studio Property Planners. Thank you.
Much.